Hey everyone, Super Andrew 64 here. The other day I watched the Super Smash Bros. Direct and oh my gosh, I cannot wait for this game. I am so excited. December cannot come soon enough. So I'm going to go over what they talked about, and at the end I'm going to talk about one little issue that I don't think anyone has brought up yet. So without further ado, let's get into the highlights of the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Direct. They introduced 5 new characters: Simon Belmont from Castlevania, Richter Belmont from Castlevania as well, and Chrom from Fire Emblem, Dark Samus from Metroid, and King K. Rool. They had 103 stages, all have Battlefield and Omega form, which I think is really cool. So basically you can use any stage for like a tournament kind of. So most returning stages are being updated and remastered. And then the N64 stages are staying the same, so it looks like they were on the N64 all pixelated, which I think is really cool. There's also going to be over 900 music tracks available. It's going to be about 28 hours, and also you can use the Switch on the go as a portable MP3 player sort of. The modes that they showed off were one called Squad Strike, which is basically it's going to be 3-on-3 or 5-on-5, so it's kind of like a Street Fighter versus Capcom game. There's also a mode called Smash Jam where you select a new character for each battle and you cannot select a previous one. And for sudden death, the camera gradually zooms in, and there's also a ring of fire around the edge. I think it's really cool, really gives a sense of urgency. Tournament mode has returned. It's going to be up to 32 players. There's also training mode has been upgraded. There's grids on it so you can see how far you launch your opponents. Also classic mode is back, similar to one on the N64 where there's a different character on each stage there. And there's also another cool mode called Stage Morph, where basically you pick 2 stages and they'll morph into each other. You can select the frequency on that as well. They also introduced some new items. We have a banana gun, a killing edge, bomber, death scythe, a staff, a rambling evil mushroom, and a rage blaster. And then also they introduced new Pokemon. They introduced 9 new Pokemon total, and some highlighted ones are Alolan Executor, Solgaleo, Lunala, Mimikyu, Vulpix, both Kanto and Alola versions, and also Ditto. And they also introduced 12 total assist trophies. Some of the highlights were Zero from Mega Man, Alucard from Castlevania, Knuckles from Sonic, Chef Kawasaki from Kirby, Shovel Knight, Moon from Zelda, Rathalos from Monster Hunter. He also will both be a boss and an assist trophy. He's the first character in Smash series to do so. They also showed us the main menu. It looks like there's a sidebar where messaging and like friend invites will be available. You can also access your settings from the sidebar as well. And there's also one mode that they blurred out, so maybe it could be like a story mode or an adventure mode, perhaps. As you can see, there's a lot of new features in this Smash Bros. Game, and I truly believe it's the ultimate version of Smash. Now, there's one issue that no one's really talked about here. It's going to be the file size. Back in July, it reported that the game would be 16 gigabytes on the Japanese eShop. Now, with all these features being packed into this game, I highly doubt this is going to be 16 gigabytes. If you look at the history of the Super Smash Bros. Files, you can see that the N64 version is 12 megabytes, GameCube is almost a gig, the Wii is 7 gigs, 3DS is 2 gigs, Wii U is 15 gigs, so approximately all of them together are 25 gigs. So my question is, how are you going to load all of these features onto one cartridge without requiring a download? Now, I most definitely think there's going to be a download with this. It's probably going to be a really, really big file, unless Nintendo is going to use one of their 32 gigabyte cartridges. Now, there are no first-party Nintendo games that use this cartridge. This would be the biggest game in Nintendo history and the first Nintendo game to use the 32 gigabyte cartridges. Now, some third-party games have used the 32 gigabyte cartridge, so this would be a first for Nintendo. This is also the biggest game in terms of file size that Nintendo has ever created. As I was watching the presentation, I said jokingly to myself, I'll probably have to get a separate SD card for this, even if I do get the physical version, which probably won't be the case. Also, it does seem that there is going to be a special edition. Nintendo of Europe actually posted on their Twitter showing a picture of a box with all the Smash Bros. Characters on it, and it's going to include the game, the GameCube controller, and the GameCube adapter. Now, there's no word of it coming to other parts of the world, but hopefully it does. And even if it doesn't, the Switch is region free, so you can always import it. Be sure to leave a comment down below. I'd want to hear your opinions on the Smash Bros. Direct. Do you think it was too long, there was not enough stuff, or was it just right? Do you think Smash Bros. Are going to do another Direct in the future? Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and have yourselves a one update. This is Super Andrew 64 signing off. And here's some of my other videos that you may like. They really mean a lot to me if you check them out. Thank you.